What's the first thing you think of when you hear Donald Trump?
Pictures.
Pictures of what?
A princess is.
Princesses? What's one nice thing you can say about Donald Trump?
He has kind of cool hair, I think.
He has cool hair? Whose hair is cooler? His or yours?
Mine.
Donald Trump has a lot of nicknames for people like Crooked Hillary, Rocket Man. Do you have a nickname for him?
Poop face. I will build a wall. A big one.
How do you think Trump has done in his first year in office?
Great.
What do you think he's done that's so great?
To save the world
He saved the world? From what?
from harmony.
Do you think Donald Trump has done a good job in his first year as president?
No.
Why not?
Because he wants to put a wall over Mexico, and I love going to Mexico.
What's the first thing you think of when I say Donald Trump?
Small fingers and orange face.
What's the worst thing he's done?
I think he needs to stop threatening North Korea,
Why?
because I don't want to get nuked.
Can you do an impression of him?
It's gonna be great.
We are going to build a wall, and it will be huge.
Can you do an impression of the president for us?
China, China, China. Here's your paper dolls.
Do you think he's smart?
No.
Why not?
He treats people badly, and that's why I don't think he's smart.
I hate him. I just hate him.
You got to stop thinking that the people who support Trump are like Trump, that they speak like Trump, that they act like Trump. They don't. They want to hire Trump to do a dirty job. They want him to be a virus to the political corpus. They want him to disrupt, to destroy, to demean those that they disrespect and dislike, the system that they distrust and despise. They want someone to do what they believe has been done to them and that they cannot do themselves. That's why they don't care that he exhibits terrible behavior, because they're putting him into a terrible place. If you're sending somebody into the jungle, do you really care if they're a savage? You see what I'm saying? And you have to understand it that way. You may not agree, you may not accept, you may not like, but that's what it is.
I feel he's a danger to the country, to democracy.
President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election. He sought a coup by misleading people with lies. My father and our neighbors were misled also with lies, and I know where such lies lead. President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. The good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tweet. But what are we to make of those elected officials who have enabled his lies and his treachery? I will remind them of what Teddy Roosevelt said. Patriotism means to stand by the country. It does not mean to stand by the president.
Why does Trump set so many people on edge? He is exceptionally extroverted, particularly with regard to the aspect of assertiveness. He's also low in politeness. Now that combination has some overlap with narcissism. Not surprising in a figure who has been in the spotlight and strived to be for so many years. However, he is genuinely compassionate, really quite surprisingly so, and appears on the basis of his behavior to be relatively or perhaps even markedly conscientious. The presence of those aspects and traits mitigates against what could otherwise be the dangers associated with narcissism.
He can't help himself but emotionally react to things. One of the things that he's a narcissistic sociopath. That's the thing everyone has to kind of get used to. It's the reason why you cannot normalize him. You cannot treat him like a normal human being, because he's not. He is unwell. And that's why he can't follow. He's not going to be able to follow his lawyer's directions. That's why, he played right into the plaintiff's hands in the E. Jean Carroll case. They're trying to show basically he's a jerk. And what does he do? He acts like a jerk right in front of the jury. He shows disrespect for the jury. And, the fact of the matter is he's saying, oh, none of this ever happened. Well, okay, where's your testimony?
All hell's gonna break loose. I think it's gonna get way worse. I think he's gonna try and flip rules and get away with more.
I think the United States made a sound decision and spoke what they wanted. And the decision was for the economy, getting rid of illegal immigrants. There were issues that Americans felt strong about, and I think Canadians feel strong about them too.
I'm horrified.
I'm going to tell you what I really think of Donald Trump. This man is a pathological liar.
He put us $8 trillion in debt just in 4 years. Our kids will never forgive us for that.
He does not want us to solve the problem at the border. He wants to lay the blame for the border at Biden.
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot.
You can be the most worthless Republican in America, but if you kiss the ring, he'll say you're wonderful.
President Trump asked me to put him over the Constitution. Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States.
To my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible, there will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain.
I honestly was for Trump because I think in general for the economy of the states and for international relationships, he's a bit better than the Democrats.
What do I think of him? I think he was a good businessman, a real estate guy, and he was certainly terrific on The Apprentice. I don't think that Donald ever should have been president, and I don't think that even Donald thought he was going to be president.
You've taken millions!
That's all right. Go home to mommy. Your mommy's waiting. Go home to mommy. It's amazing because that used to happen all of the time. And I don't think it's happened in 2.5 or 3 years. That's the thing. And she's so young.
I have so much passion in this area. Why don't I use my passion to birth out purpose? Why don't I create a group that will help you? You never thought of that? Instead of just talking about the same thing over and it sounds like complaining. I hate complaining. Either we gonna come up with solutions or shut it up. I'm sorry to say shut up, but just please hush. I'm tired of hearing about Trump. The negative things. Okay? Especially if you're not gonna bring out a positive.
But a lot of us as African Americans don't understand that we need to vote for Trump. We keep the narrative that he's a racist is a false narrative. We know it's a false narrative. It's a push. He wasn't called a racist until he started running for office. Before then, he was hanging out with every rapper, in the city. So how can he be a racist up until one point, and then all of a sudden he's a racist all of a sudden? But his policies, we need to not vote for personality. We need to vote for policy. His policies are for everybody, and he's done so many things for African Americans. The Second Chance Act, low unemployment rate, and he's given to historic black colleges. So we need to keep those policies and push forward with his policies and keep that momentum and not vote different when it comes up. The Democrats have nothing for us but death on their platform, and most of their platforms do nothing but destroy the African American community. We know that. We say we want to change, but we're afraid to make the change because of his personality. I get it. A lot of people don't like him, but like his policies, and you cannot lose those policies as African Americans. A lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you're wrong for supporting him and everything like that." No, I'm not wrong for supporting him. We need to keep those policies, and we need to keep that momentum in the African American community moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's important to note, like you said, unemployment for the African American community specifically is at an all-time low, and you can't dispute facts. What would you say to your African American counterparts that argue that he hasn't done for the community what other people say he has?
Well, I would first of all tell them to look his policies up. We vote personality instead of voting policy. I told a friend about the low unemployment rate. He didn't even know it. I was talking to an African American friend of mine. He was like, "What did he do?" They keep asking, "What's his policies? What's his policy?" I said, "Haven't you heard about the low unemployment?" No, I didn't know that. All they know is, "Oh, he's a racist. He's a racist. He's a racist." That's a false narrative being pushed by the left. You can't just look at this election is so important. You can't look at personality. You have to look at policy. I used to vote like that too. Before I got with Walkaway. Walkaway helped me out a lot. She helped me out a lot to walk away from the Democratic Party. I was one of those people that voted on personality. I'll just look at the candidates and say which one's a nicer guy. Well, we can't do that because nice can be tricked nowadays.
Absolutely.
The people on the Democratic side will smile in your face and won't get your vote and won't give you nothing in return. We need to, at this point, look at presidents.
I wasn't just a Trump
Trump supporter. I was a true believer. I was one of his closest advisors. I saw him when the cameras were off. Behind closed doors, Trump mocks his supporters. He calls them basement dwellers.
I never thought that I would see a day where I would be rooting for a university above Donald J. Trump and his administration. But I don't recognize his administration right now. I don't recognize what's happening. I have a theory. I do. We were kicking around some theories earlier, me and the team, and we were going, how could Trump be such a free speech enthusiast and allowing these things to happen? Going after college universities, trying to suppress speech, while pretending that you're not suppressing speech, while pretending that you're fighting DEI. It's so messy. It's so obvious. Everyone knows what you're doing. People who are still trying to grift, I suppose, are not willing to challenge you on this, which is ridiculous, because when you are out of office, we are going to have to live with these consequences. Our children are going to have to grow up in this America. Okay. So when you threaten our speech, it's not worth it so that we can have pom-poms and go hurrah for a couple of years, then go, okay, well, yeah, now it kind of stinks because, we're getting arrested